Welcome to the Wellness Help Desk with your host, Nike Lamodi, certified wellness coach and personal trainer. A wellness podcast focused on providing practical tips on how to curate a healthy lifestyle uniquely for you, where we discuss wellness hot topics with expert guests and have real candid conversations. It's the one-stop shop you need to get the help you've been looking for. Let's dive in. Hey, and welcome to the Wellness Help Desk. I'm your host, Nike Lamodi, and this is episode 37. Welcome to today's episode. We're going to be talking all about how you can overcome the guilt that you feel while you are attempting to rest. And we all know how important rest is. It shouldn't just be this thing that is an option, but it truly is a necessity. And so rest really is essential to your healing, to you being able to connect to your inner child, and for you to be able to honor your needs based on what is going on in the season of your life. And so for the first gen oldest daughter, rest tends to come with some challenges, right? One of them being that we can feel guilty for resting. And sometimes this guilt can be because we're constantly thinking about the to-do list, the things that we can be doing with our time that we are presently using to rest. And so I want you to really consider these steps that I'm going to share with you today about what does rest mean to you up until this point in your life. How do you see rest? Do you see it as a priority? Do you see it as something that is necessary for you to be at your most optimal well-being? And I don't know about y'all, but whenever I am in a time or space or activity that is supposed to be me resting and recharging, but I'm literally just thinking about my to-do list, thinking about the things that I still have to get done, I feel like I walk away from that time annoyed and not rejuvenated at all, and then just so frustrated that I just spent all that time thinking about this to-do list, and I could have actually been using the time to do something productive. So then I'm mad at myself for wasting the time on resting. I didn't even get anything done productive. This was a back and forth struggle that I had until I created this simple framework that really helped me to overcome that guilt that I was experiencing while attempting to rest because I kept focusing on the to-do list. Now, with these steps, you don't have to walk through them like written down in a journal or anything like that. Only if you feel like that's going to help you best in the moment. You could just talk through them out loud or just in your head. So whatever best works for you. But I do recommend that this is done as soon as you feel the anxiousness or the chest tightening or the worry or the inundated flood of thoughts come on while you're in a restful activity or trying to actively rest, is to start walking through these steps. So the first step is to acknowledge and name the feeling that is coming up. So are you feeling anxious? Are you uncomfortable? Is your chest tight? Are you feeling guilty? Because instead of ignoring that feeling that's happening and that's sensations that are going on in your body, you want to acknowledge and name the feeling and what's going on so that it's known, right? Your brain can say, oh, wait, we're feeling uncomfortable right now. And your body will start to accept what is actually coming up instead of trying to fight and resist it by pretending it's not there. And so this is the first step. Acknowledge and name the feeling that is coming up. The second thing is to remind yourself what the facts are. What is true about what you have already done? So I've worked 40 hours this week and I've showed up for everyone else, or I've completed all the laundry, or I did all the rest of my meal prep for this week. List out, say out loud the things that you've already accomplished or you've done to be productive, so to speak, to meet your needs, to ensure that the important, urgent things were taken care of. And when you do this, whether you're writing it down or saying it out loud, your brain is probably going to offer you, but I have other things to do that I haven't gotten to yet, such as, and it'll rattle off the long list. And what you can do is decide to say, okay, both things can be true. I can also have this to-do list of other things that I need to get done, but I also can still enjoy the time of rest that I've carved out for myself at the same time. Two things can be true. I don't have to live in either choosing think about the to-do list and all that I have left to do, or enjoy my restful time. I can accept that both things are true. And so in that, you want to remind yourself that there will always be a to-do list. It's not ever going to go away. As adults in a dynamic world with things that happen out of our control, there will always be something on the to-do list. So I'm not here to zero out my to-do list and then decide I'm going to rest. So that's the second step. The third step is, why am I resting? Like, really connect to why you're doing this resting in the first place. And I don't mean like what you've been told or the right political correct answer. I mean, truly for you, what is your reason for resting? And it's going to be different for everybody. Why are you striving to take care of yourself in the form of resting? Is it so that you can show up as a better version of yourself in work or in your relationship or as a parent, as a daughter, as a friend? Is it so that you can tend to your own mental health and make sure that you're nurturing and cultivating it? Or is it to make sure that you're giving your body the rest that it needs to recharge and to heal, especially if you battle chronic illness? So these steps, walking through these 3 steps, will transition your focus to what's true and ground you into the present. And this isn't to go through these steps to then say, this is why I deserve rest. This is to acknowledge what's coming up in your body and what your brain is thinking about as I hear you, I see you. And right now I'm choosing to spend this time resting because of whatever reason you decided in step 3 on why rest is important to you. So this isn't a conversation about persuasion. This is literally working through acceptance of 2 things being true at the same time and then making a decision about what you're doing because of the why behind what you're doing. The biggest thing that causes the continual guilt and the heaviness of that guilt when you are trying to rest and you can't stop thinking about your to-do list is that you are deciding that you're going to make it a problem that you're thinking about your to-do list. You shame yourself. You're like, oh my gosh, why can't I stop thinking about this? And I wrote it down, but like I'm thinking of other things I need to get done. Like you're making it a problem that you're thinking about your to-do list instead of saying, oh, brain, like thanks for bringing up things that are important for me to get done in due time. Noted. It's not a problem that I'm thinking about this to-do list, but I acknowledge that I will check the to-do list after my rest time that I've decided to have intentionally for myself is over. And as a first-gen oldest daughter, I really want to offer this perspective. This is so unique to us. Resting is a new skill that we're growing in. It's a new skill because as children of immigrants, it was extremely rare that we saw rest role modeled and specifically intentional and planned rest. Because rest was looked at or perceived as jeopardizing our safety, jeopardizing the ability for money to be made so that food was put on the table, a roof was kept over our head, and the bills were paid. And so right now in your adulthood, you are having to relearn how to rest and also how rest can feel safe in your body, how rest can feel okay in your body. So you really have to be kind to yourself that right now you're developing the skill of rest and that practicing a skill takes time, but you have to continue to do it in order to get better at it. And so you may have to gradually work up to the capacity that you have for rest. So it may start out as just 20 minutes and then you work up to a full day. And I know some of you right now are like, a full day of rest? Are you crazy? But a whole full day of rest for me is like my favorite. It's slow mornings, super intentional, doing the things that light me up, bring me joy, help serve my inner child. Like I love a full day of rest. And so the key is just to keep moving forward as you're growing in your skill of rest. Because here's the thing, as a first-gen oldest daughter, what I help my clients do is to stop saying yes to everybody so that they can have the energy, have the capacity to live life on their terms, to make decisions in their dating and how they spend their money and where they live and what job they do, all of that, to make those decisions on their terms. You want to do that, but the only way to do that is you have to actively involve rest in your life. You have to actively invite the space to feel safe, the space to be grounded in your life in order to have the clarity and the energy to live the life on your terms. Because rest re-energizes you. It brings healing, it fosters creativity, and so many other things that help you to move forward with momentum towards building a life that is lived on your terms. And so I really want to invite you to book a call with me via the link in the show notes below so that you can learn how in one-on-one coaching, I literally teach you how to maximize rest so that you can have the energy and the capacity to be able to live life on your terms. In the end, we learned a lot from our immigrant parents, especially in the area of hard work, resilience, and perseverance. We learned a lot from them, but we get to set an example for generations after us on that we are worthy of rest, we deserve rest, and rest does not jeopardize or compromise our safety to make money to put food on the table, keep a roof over our heads, and be able to pay the bills. So I want you to walk through these 3 steps of this framework the next time you are intentionally resting and allow for it to feel safe, not only for you, but in your body. That's it for today's episode. Thank you for listening in. If you enjoyed the episode today, head over and leave me a review. This helps others find the podcast and be one step closer to curating their healthy lifestyle. Come connect with me over on Instagram at Nike_Lamodi. And if social isn't your thing, join my beautiful newsletter community via the link in the show notes. To learn more about exclusive one-on-one wellness coaching, head over to randawellness.com. As always, remember to give yourself grace.